Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a very cold and snowy Moscow, and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to do a video by request, and also something I wanted to film for quite a while, and I wanted to show an outdoor shop. Now I'm actually perhaps going to go to two different ones because I don't think everything is in this one store. And I think you might find it interesting, the different things that we can buy in these sorts of places here in Russia. One of the requests that somebody put in a recent video was, can you show us an outdoor camping fishing shop? Now, in Russia, they don't have specifically large format shops covering all niches and all outdoor activities. However, they've got these shopping centers like we're seeing right here, and this one is actually 3 levels of only outdoor items, only things like bikes, boats, fishing and camping. And it's very hard to give you an idea of how big it truly is. Let's get on inside and have a look around a little bit closer. Before I walk into the main part of the shopping center, I just noticed off to the side here they've got a Honda dealership, and I thought it might be interesting just to show this because it's off to the side and they have a lot of different Honda equipment. You've got generators, snow blowers, motorbikes, and lots of outdoor stuff. They've even got chainsaws and things for gardening. And I just thought it was interesting that these shops are actually built around the lower floor of the main building. And have a look at some of the bikes in here. And we are going to see quite a few bikes, and I'm hoping to show some other outdoor items. Even in winter, buying motorbikes is a popular thing, along with these petrol-operated snowblowers. In the back, they have quite a few different products from the brand Stihl. Now, I only know them as chainsaws, but it seems like they've also got vacuums and high-pressure cleaners, and then all of the things for gardening. I don't know how well these sell right now in December. You can barely see a blade of grass anywhere in Moscow. And David from Italy, if you're watching, I found an Italian bike amongst all of these Hondas, and it's called the Morini. Perhaps somebody knows this model, or maybe David even knows. Let me know in the comments. If you're watching the channel for the first time, I'm an Australian who lives here in Moscow region, and I make videos about life in Russia and the very typical normal life, and coming to places like this. So if that's something that interests you, perhaps check out some of the other videos on the channel. Now, this particular video might run a little bit long. Normally they run about 30 to 40 minutes. However, this shopping center is very big and I want to show as much as possible. And there is a second shopping center at the other side of the car park, which has even more stuff. And I really wanted to combine it into one video. So perhaps get yourself a cup of tea, some biscuits, and relax. Certain places in Russia have a no filming rule, and this is no exception. They've actually got no cameras and no video cameras. However, I thought it was only appropriate that I ask permission to come and film, and somebody's aware that I'm actually going to come in here and walk around and have a look at this shopping center. The actual building itself is made up of a series of different shops. And there is probably about 100 shops in total, and I'm not going to probably be able to get to all of them. However, it's very interesting to at least walk in a few of them and just get a bit of a brief idea of what they've got for sale. This one concentrates on off-road vehicles, these different quad bikes, that's what they're called, I think. And then have a look, they've got ski-doos. Is that what they're called? I think that's the right name for them. Check these out. Imagine going home on this today instead of catching the bus home. These are very cool. And they've got a whole shop back here with different types of outdoor machines. So there's both brand new models and there's some trade-in models. These are some serious bits of kit. There we go. Ski-Doo. So I do have the right name. And they've got a whole storeroom back here. Lots of tires. And I imagine they do servicing on them as well. And even they've got outboard motors if you need one, perhaps in winter. There isn't many sales, but come summertime, this will be very popular. This might give you a bit of a better idea of the place where I've just walked in. So there's actually 3 levels of shopping. And then there's some other businesses on this lower ground floor. This might be interesting on this next level. And then have a look at all of the separate companies on these upper 2 floors, which we'll get to in a minute. There's one more shop on this lower ground floor, and it's actually a KTM dealership. And there's 3 of them in Moscow. And they have all of the accessories and all of the parts for KTM bikes. Now, I have a bit of a funny story because somebody told me about KTM and Australia. However, this brand is from Austria, not Australia. And there's a forever joke about people confusing this, and somebody tried to do that to me. Over there is all of the KTM bikes in this shop. As I come up to the first level, it's quite interesting. Here is Ded Moroz, who is the Russian equivalent of Father Christmas or Santa Claus. And then this level, they've got a car dealership, which is super interesting. Before I started filming, I did come for a brief walk around here to get an idea of what to see and what to look at. And this entire floor is new and used cars. And they've got cars from every possible brand you can imagine. Of course, slowly there's more Chinese brands coming into the Russian market. And this is essentially a multi-car dealership. So rather than selling only one brand of cars, they've got cars from every company. And it's just interesting that I've come to an outdoor shopping center, and then they've got Geely over here, and then they've got Audi. In the back they've got a Ford. And the amount of cars is just crazy. And I'm in a shopping center. I've got to remember that as I'm walking around. I think the hardest working person in the dealership today is the lady cleaning the floor from everybody coming in with wet shoes. And she's continuously been going up and down the aisles doing the cleaning. They've got a Toyota Camry right here. And on the other side, they've got some different models of Lada. So you can come to these multi-car dealerships and find a car in your price range. This Beijing model, or BAIC, is what they're like to be called. And very interesting. I need to walk around to the escalator. They've got a car here with the livery of the Moscow taxi companies. So perhaps they even do the sales and lease to taxi drivers. When I first walked in here about an hour ago and I came up the escalators for the first time, I was a bit in shock. I thought I'm coming to an outdoor store, and then I'm walking into a car dealership, and just very unique shopping center, to say the least. What I think I'll do is I'll have a walk up and down the upstairs 2 levels, and then we can perhaps get a good idea of how these shopping centers work. What it is, it's very much like a traditional shopping center. However, it's outdoor companies, it's dealerships, it's companies that are selling multi-branded products. And you walk in here to this very large bike shop, and they've also got a lot of the clothing and things like helmets. And then they've got the Husqvarna brand. Now, my knowledge of that brand is either sewing machines or lawnmowers. And they've got a range of motorbikes as well. You will actually see a few more of these shops later in the video, but they've got thousands upon thousands of helmets. And I never realized that there was that many different brands or different types, different models. Here's another Husqvarna bike. And they've got all sorts of different accessories and leathers and riding gear. I think is probably the best way to describe it all. And you can find absolutely anything and everything all in the one store. This store also has a lot of tires and all of the accessories for the types of bikes. It looks like they've got a parts desk at the back there. All the boxes for the bikes as well. And more than enough choices. All of these off-road helmets. If there is some motorbike fans and gurus watching, let me know in the comments if perhaps you recognize some of these brands. This one is called Cove, the Neo Scrambler. And then there was one over here called Gaikin. And then I think these are all the same model over here. But there is so many choices. This one is called Vinto. Almost sounds Italian, doesn't it? Parked off to the side of the shop, they've got this huge quad bike. And I think it's hard to show you how big it is. But if anyone's got a spare $16,000, you can get yourself this incredibly large 4x4. Looks completely brand new, so they've not even ridden it. I do want to explain that I'm actually here on a Wednesday lunchtime. And very traditionally or typically, people shop on Saturday and Sunday. Particularly in Moscow, everybody's at work, everybody's at school, and even while I've been walking around, there's just a few shoppers here, perhaps people on their day off. It's not a video about not showing any shoppers because that comes up in every comment, and I think actually coming here midweek is a little bit easy to film as well. I think this is another outdoor shop, Force Marine, and they've got some boats and outboards. I would imagine this is popular in summertime, and then in winter, like it is now, maybe the sales are a little bit less. These enclosed inflatable boats are pretty neat though, especially if you're out when it's raining or it's cold. And they have all the accessories and everything you need for boating, even some camping things as well. In the corridor, they also have some bikes. I think these are actually electric bikes. Hemo is the brand. These are very nice. This is the other problem in Russia with winter and the 4 seasons. You can't ride bikes in winter because of the ice and the snow. And even these road bikes just wouldn't be practical because of the weather. There's another multi-sport shop. These ski-doos are just so cool to see in person. And these larger quad bikes. These are even bigger than what we would call farm bikes in Australia. They're just huge in size. Perhaps in Moscow region where I am here, they would be suitable. But for normal living in Moscow, really wouldn't be practical at all. And you can buy all of the gear. They've even got things like winches and straps. And they can kit them out with as much extra accessories as you like. I think this might be even a extra tank on the top here as well. They've also got all of the oils and accessories. And just fascinating to come to these shops There's some generators. Is there quad bike shops where you live? If you're watching from somewhere not here in Moscow, do these sorts of shops exist outside of Russia? You can get a trailer, and then they've got all of the extra accessories. Perhaps somebody's doing ordering of items. And then even they've got shoes and outdoor wear. Each of these shops, as I'm walking around, are actually separate companies or separate businesses, and then some of them are dealers for the brands, and then some of them are shops that are selling just general merchandise. You can see another one here that's just got the bike leathers and all of the choices of the clothing, particularly all of the winter gear and just general bike jackets and shoes and pants, everything you need. And then just down the middle of this walkway, they've got even more boats. I wonder if there's one dealer somewhere, but he just parked all the boats in the middle of this shopping center walkway. The John Doe brand. And we don't have a Route 66 here in Moscow. We've got Ekip 77. Perhaps that's a brand of clothing and this riding gear. They've got all sorts of stuff. Plenty of choices. And the leathers in just these generic colors, the jackets, the vests, everything. Even the comfy chairs in the middle right here. There is more boats and lots of smaller, more fishing style boats. I don't think you could use them for water skiing. Perhaps you could. And they've got some of these inflatables as well. It's orange color. There is rivers in Russia, and particularly here in Moscow. So there is a market for them, and there is people who buy them. Actually, perhaps this is the dealership back here. The North Silver is this model. Honda Marine, Mercury. So they've got all of the well-known brands. These outboard motors are just huge. And then all of the gentlemen wondering what the heck I'm doing as I walk in and have a look. These are nice boats. Beautiful. I think this smaller shop just has one brand of these off-road cars or buggies. Is that the right word? I've got a few different models, and then this big thing right here. This is as big as a car. Have a look at it. And even it's got the touchscreen CarPlay. Would you even use that? I don't know. Maybe you use that for the maps so you can figure out where you're riding. They've got a little bit of everything. Very good year of this motorbike, or the bike number. Perhaps somebody got a little bit creative and made this display. There's almost an element of art to this, and this motorbike that they've colored in right here. And there's another bike dealership upstairs. They've got some Harley Davidsons as well. The Road King. I don't know really anything about motorbikes, and what we're looking at here, the Electra Guide. So these are actually late model bikes, but they're absolutely pristine condition, so perhaps they were trade-ins for other models. A whole lot of them. The Screaming Eagle. Anybody knows about these different bikes? Please let me know. So these are all for sale, so there will be one of the dealerships somewhere as I'm walking around. The Road Glide Limited. So right about $19,000, 2017 model. I think what happens is a lot of people trade them in and get new models, and then the dealership then sells them as second-hand models. Perhaps they refurbish them and polish them up. On this upstairs level, there is actually a few fishing shops. So you can see as I look down the whole length of this building, this would be like any ordinary Russian shopping center. And then instead of mixing it in with things like clothes shops, shoe shops, whatever different shop they would have at any traditional shopping center, this is just for outdoor enthusiasts. And I think maybe for some people it's the dream shopping center to come to. Let's have a look in one of the fishing shops if we can. Hopefully it's okay. They've got lots of very traditional looking fishing gear. And then you've got the ice drills for winter fishing as well. So if you want to drill a hole in the frozen lakes or rivers, you can, which is probably not so traditional. And all the different fishing gear. The one thing, if you come to a Russian tackle shop, is you're going to get a lot more specific knowledge about the local types of fish that you can catch. And these probably won't be so practical for using in other countries. Maybe for river fishing or fly fishing and things like that. And they've got plenty of brands and choices. This shop isn't particularly big, but there's a lot of stuff in here. And it turns out the guy working here, I think, is a champion fisherman. He has some of his trophies on display. And a lot of the outdoor gear and things like the boots and the clothes are all Russian made. So they've got quite a selection of things made in Russia. And then the fishing tackle is a combination of Russian made and things made in China, which I think is very normal. I did notice too there was a few brands that had Japan on them as well. But I think the whole idea is getting things that are made locally to suit the local market, or at least the local fishing scene. So I don't think if I went to a fishing shop in Australia that I would see anything made locally. But you come to a place like this and so much of it is Russian produced. When I was told about this shopping center, this is the shop that I imagined when I came here, and this is called pike.ru. So I think they name it also the same as their website. And this is really an outdoor shop, and everything that would be related to camping and outdoor adventure, pretty much wall to wall of everything that you possibly want. All of the different outdoor clothes, jackets, accessories, bags, and everything to stay nice and warm, particularly with the weather now. I wonder if they sell more winter jackets this time of year than some of the bike dealers are selling. Even got some cases for some weapons as well. Lots of hats. And plenty of the more traditional outdoor items, and then the hunting jackets as well. They've got them absolutely stacked up. Just want to be a little bit careful. There's some people in here shopping. I don't want to get in their way. Even bags. And then on the back wall there, all of the winter boots up there as well. Very nice. They've even got all of the things for camping, so all of the pots and pans and plates. Lots of types of shoes. And then I was actually just having a look on this back wall. They've got a huge selection of winter gloves and socks. And I need some new gloves myself. My old gloves have pretty much done their time now. And I need something that I can wear just every day, going on the train and the bus and traveling around. And I think I might have found the shop. All of these wet weather bags. So a lot of it's actually made under their own brand, which is very nice. And then they've got some other travel brands. Plenty of things. Socks, even sunglasses as well. They've even got some different multi-tools. I was asking one of the staff if there's any Russian-made bikes, and he showed me a picture of a bike and sidecar. Now this is quite clearly a Chinese model. However, there's a very famous brand called Ural, which makes the bike and sidecar. And to see the Chinese one, the Indian Scout. This is a nice bike. These Indian motorbikes. They've actually got quite a few of them here, all down this side. Again, if you know some of these brands or the types of bikes that I'm showing, let me know. And then where you live, do they sell them? I imagine every country in the world has a dealership that has these. Have a look at this BMW. $14,000. An R1200. Very nice. Come across another fishing shop. fishingseason.ru. And the one thing that's very important that a lot of people perhaps misunderstand about shopping in Russia, there is a very big online shopping culture as well as offline shopping, which is where you would come to a shop physically to buy something. And there is way too much availability of online shops to buy things. And of course, if you know the products, it's perfectly fine. But if you want to know something more, you rely on coming to these kinds of shops and getting the knowledge from the staff to understand particularly what type of fish you want to catch, where is the river, what part of Russia it might be in. And they've got walls upon walls of all of the different fishing gear, and more particularly fishing gear for Russia. Even though this one says Norway on it, so look close. But plenty of items. And the fishing tackle boxes. They've even got the bags as well, which is super nice. All of the brands that we know. Shimano I know as a fishing gear and bike deraillers. That's my entire knowledge. And I know they make fishing tackle as well. Some nice carry cases. Lots of things. They have endless types of fishing hooks and all of the fishing rods and fishing reels. Lots of very well-known brands. You can come in and literally buy any model you like. There is no shortage of them. Daiwa and Shimano, they're the two that I know. Actually, Penn is another brand of fishing reel as well. I think most fishing enthusiasts would know these brands. Another shop that I found very interesting when I walked around earlier was this one called Power. And they've got generators, and I would imagine these are probably diesel or petrol powered, but they have them in these cases, and they've got the padding and insulation. So obviously in winter and in cold weather, they would still work. And they've got all of the full design. They actually even have the heating in them to allow them to be insulated and keep to the normal temperature. Has anybody seen these before? Or is this just a Russia thing? I think it would be interesting to know. And then on this wall over here, they've got the more traditional looking generators. And they've got some lawnmowers as well. I wonder how many lawnmowers they sell in the month of December. As I keep walking around, just the amount of bikes and winter off-road vehicles, I think it's still the right name to call them, It's just amazing. Looks like somebody at this end has dressed everything up for the holidays coming in January. The Stingray. And they've got some scooters here as well. I don't see scooters on the road in Moscow where I live, and even the amount of daily travel that I do, I don't see them. And then you can see at this end they've got 4 more shops and just bikes sitting out everywhere. So imagine if you start looking at one, you then have to go and find the company or the shop that's selling them. There's just model after model wrapped around here. Motoland, the Forester. If any of these are familiar brands, please let me know. And then all of these 4x4 bikes as well. There's a shop here called Combat, and it's a outdoor and camping store. And they got lots of general things that are for camping and going out into the wilderness of Russia. Even got the coolers, multi-tools, and then they've also got things like scopes as well. And not just 1 or 2 of them. They've got a lot. Got the headsets and all sorts of accessories at the same time. This is actually a very compact store. Camping stoves, even shovels to dig out your car as well. Are these slingshots? It looks like they are. That's pretty neat. I wonder if there's a whole niche of people that like doing slingshot firing. Is that the right word? The flashlights and camping lights. And then binoculars and scopes. This is what I come to see. These things like this. And these specialist stores, which here in Russia do exist, and you can come in and find everything you need. And the idea is to come to these specialist stores that have got specific products for what you want, rather than going to a large shop and wandering around. One shop has just exactly what you want in one place. Tucked away all the way in the corner, there's another outdoor store. And this one has lots of different inflatable boats. They've even got the stand-up paddle boards as well. Now, people do use them in summer. They actually have a festival in Moscow where they invite everybody to bring their boards down to the river and ride them around. Where else can you buy a snowblower, an outboard motor, and a paddle board in the same shop? It's such a diverse selection of things. And there's some Honda bikes as well. And then these scooter type bikes. In Australia, these Hondas, they use them as postman delivery bikes. And they're very popular when people get to buy them second hand. And you can get them when the postal service retire them. They look very similar to this model. No wonder. And all of the boats. And they've got accessories back there as well. And it's really fascinating to see all of the things in one shop. You can even get the boat seats, engine oil, and they've even got the tow behind donuts and biscuits if you want to go on the river. It turns out this particular shop that I'm in is actually the largest boat dealer in Moscow. And they have all the boats that we saw in the previous parts where I was walking from downstairs to upstairs. And then they also have quite a lot of them outside as well in storage or in garages, because it's just not possible to bring everything indoors. And these are all made, particularly what we're seeing here, are all made in Russia, either in St. Petersburg or Chelyabinsk, and a third city that I can't remember. It's just interesting that these are all domestically produced And there's a market for them. There's lots of different designs of them too, and different styles suited to the local markets. I've actually walked down the street a little bit, about 5 minutes walk from the shopping center that I've just walked around and shown you. And I've come to one more shop, and I'm going to briefly tease you and show you this store inside. It's called Trophy, and I think it might be interesting on the bigger scale of what I've shown in the previous parts of the video, and show you what's available in the camping, hunting, fishing markets. Let's go in and check it out. When I set out to make this video and to answer the question about outdoor shops and fishing shops and things like that, this was the kind of store that I was looking for. And I asked on my Telegram channel for some suggestions of places to come to. And people recommended that first mall that I walked out of and we've been watching. And they recommended this place. And this is really what I wanted to show, this true outdoor shop and all the things that they've got inside. Even barbecues, thermoses. They've even got these kitchens that you can put in your country houses. And then camping gear, fishing gear, clothing. Now what I've decided to do is just show you this briefly, and then I'm going to do a separate standalone video that just details this shop. So I'm literally going to walk around for a minute or two, and then if you want to see the standalone video of this particular store, I'm going to have it on another video pretty much either before this one comes out or after. So depending on which one you're watching first. They've got tents as well, and literally everything barring the kitchen sink, but perhaps somewhere they sell kitchen sinks. And this is just the downstairs area. Let me show you upstairs. Walking up the steps to this second level, I'm a little bit out of breath. I actually walked here from the other mall as well. Have a look at this for a fishing shop, an outdoor store, and the aisles upon aisles of gear that they've got, and these tents as well. This is the selection that I think people were asking for me to show in the video. So I'm gonna not show you everything. I'm just gonna give you a sneak peek. They also have boats as well, and smaller fishing boats, and these rowboats. I think you can put motors on these. Quite a lot of choices of them at the same time. And then even these smaller inflatable style, but just the amount of choices in this one store is exactly what everybody has been asking me to show. And I will have a separate detailed video of this place coming very soon. And they also have a hunting section as well, with literally a whole aisle of the accessories and all of the gear. And then just have a look down this left-hand aisle here at all the choices, along with a lot of ducks as well. As I head out of the Trophy shop, I really hope you've enjoyed this video and this walk around of some different Russian outdoor shops, as the guys here are clearing all the snow from the car park. There was a lot of snow in the last 2 days here in Moscow, and everywhere's now scrambling to get rid of all the snow from the car parks. I hope it was an interesting video, and I want to leave you on a cliffhanger, as I've done in the last few videos. I'm going to make a single video now of the Trophy shop and walk around a little bit slower and give you an idea of what a standalone outdoor shop looks like. And I think it might be very interesting, particularly for people who are asking, do they have these things here in Russia? And I think even the previous shopping center that we went to, for me, was super interesting, and to show the amount of off-road bikes and the ski-doos. There was a couple of fishing shops, camping shops, and the amount of motorbikes as well in one store was absolutely phenomenal. And I really hope it came across in the video as well. And if you want to follow me on Telegram, there's a link right here. And then what I'll do is I'll put the video link to this trophy shop here, but after it comes out on the channel. So you might see it right now popping up, or you might see another video, something different in the meantime, until I get all the videos published on the channel. Thanks everybody. I'm off on another adventure. Bye.